Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Chess Journey to National Master. In this episode, I'll be starting to cover the Maya Chess Open 2025, a tournament that I played, one of my favorite tournaments in the Portuguese circuit. And yeah, this was a very nice tournament, my first actual tournament of 2025. And let's see how it went. Just for the context, there were two groups. There was Group A and Group B in this tournament, which I think it was maybe the second or the first or second time that they actually introduced this system. Maybe second time. And I was playing in Group B, which is under 2000. I didn't feel ready to play in the 2000 plus bracket, even though you can actually be under 2000 and still play there, which is kind of weird. Uh, I don't understand that. If you pay an extra, you can't do it, but okay. They know what they are doing better, probably. But yeah, okay. My opponent here was Sam Owek, a Dutch player, 1600. And let's see how the game went. So I had the white pieces in, as usual, c4 to open things up. My opponent goes knight f6, g3, c5, so we get a symmetrical English. Bishop g2, knight c6, knight f3, d6, d4 here. Yeah, in general, what I know from these positions is that as soon as you can play d4, you should probably do it, because it is a nice strike in the center. And so we get this position where my opponent trades everything on d4 and then plays e5. I play queen d3, and now my opponent plays bishop e7. Let's pause here for a second. So I think this is already like a tremendous win for me in the opening. This d6 e5, where like you see a lot of these structures in the Sicilians, but here it's a bit different. I mean, like, I don't think black is ready to play like this. This d6 pawn is gonna be a tremendous weakness throughout the whole game. Also, this d5 square is super weak. This bishop is a monster in this diagonal. Yeah, I don't think my opponent played this particularly well. I think I got a very nice advantage from the first like 8 moves of the game. So I was very happy with this. So okay, castles, knight c3, h6, stopping any bishop g5s, which is actually a very nice move, this h6 move, because in general, when there's like this weakness on the d5 square, there's a lot of times where white just plays bishop g5, chops on f6, and then plants a piece on d5. So actually h6 is a nice move, nice prophylactic move. I play b3. Okay, my bishop doesn't have a place in this diagonal, so let's develop to b2. Rook b8, protecting b7, preparing to develop the bishop. Bishop b2, bishop d7, rook f d1, putting immediate pressure on d6. Bishop c6, and okay, here, like, my opponent's starting to, like, get his pieces out, and it starts looking better for him, for sure. I play knight d5. Okay, I want to occupy this d5 square with the piece, not let him play d5, not let him just trade bishops. Let's just use this moment to play knight d5. Of course, if my opponent decides to trade everything, I'll end up with a navy piece or the d5 square, and then we have good bishop versus bad bishop. So my opponent will not immediately trade all the pieces. He did trade the knights, and then he played queen c7, which is nice. Okay, he doesn't trade everything, which would make my life way easier. He develops the queen. Also, I don't want to take to allow him to, you know, take back with the pawn and get a nice center. So I just put the rook to actually have this pin for the future. Just be annoying. Rook f8, queen f3, touching this, threatening this f7 pawn here. My pawn goes bishop f8, and yeah, we reached this position where, like, I'm clearly better, but I still need to actually find a plan to break through. Um, but yeah, statically, I'm dominating the position. Now I need some sort of plan to break through. So okay, I decide to double rooks. My opponent also double rooks to defend d6, and here I play e4. I don't know if I like this move e4, honestly. The engine says that I need to start play on the queen side, but it wasn't so clear for me. So I played e4, b5 by my opponent. I don't like this b5 move because I don't think he wants to open things up, but he did. And now I get the c file, so the rooks just transferred to the c file. And now my opponent is also probably trying to defend the c file infiltration. Okay, I start pushing pawns on the king side. Again, I was just trying to keep the pressure going, but I wasn't sure what I should do. Also, I didn't want to waste all my time trying to find a blow, a direct win, because I don't think there is a direct win just yet. Bishop b7 by my opponent. Okay, he's trying to trade pieces to alleviate some pressure. I play queen d3. As I said, if he's gonna take on d5, I definitely never want to take with the pawn. I really want to take with the piece to keep this d6 pawn super weak. My opponent plays queen a8, and okay, now he's starting to threaten to take, and leave my pawn on d5. So I just play rook cd1. This is really a game of cat and mouse, where we are just trying to parry the threats of each other. And after g6 here, which, I mean, the computer, it's really hard to play. I'm not gonna blame my opponent. It's really hard to play for black. You have to make some moves, but yeah, the engine doesn't like g6 because it weakens the king side. Or already says that h5 is a very nice move. This is a little bit too advanced for me to even consider. I don't really consider these types of moves, but I guess the issue with g5 is that the king gets super weak. Also, the issue with this h5 is the same thing, just the king gets super weak. So there's not a real easy way for black to actually deal with this h5 move, which is very nice. But okay, I end up trading on b7 and I play queen d5. So my idea with this was, okay, I'm gonna trade queens and I'm gonna just have a risk-free position where I'll always have pressure on d6. I'll have a nice rook on the d5 square. I have the open file. It's not easy for my opponent to even get pieces on the c file, so I guess I'm just dominating. And yeah, the computer still likes my position, but now there's a critical situation. This f5 move, I thought that it was very nice, just trying to strike in the center, strike my e4 pawn, which is kind of weak. And here I make the first like big mistake of the game. Maybe you can even call it almost a blunder. There is only like one move to keep a very nice advantage. I played f3, which the computer doesn't like at all. Just says that I almost lose all my advantage. Not all my advantage. I still have a nice advantage, but the other one, the other move gave me a clear advantage. But I couldn't see why this was good, honestly. But my opponent activates the king. I play rook c6, takes, and okay, my opponent defends the d6 pawn. I still felt like I was dominating the position. Bishop a3, king e6. I go back to b2. My opponent repeats. Of course, I don't want to draw. I just wanted to see what he would do about bishop a3, because in this position with bishop a3, let me just go back. I'm threatening to take on e5 because of the pin. So okay, I just wanted to check if my opponent saw that threat. Also, what I really love about this tournament is that on move 40 you get an extra 30 minutes, so that's very nice. Sometimes you just want to repeat the position once or twice just to reach the move 40, so you have more time to think. And I think that was one of the cases, although I still had plenty of time. I don't know about my opponent. I think my opponent was way lower on the clock than me. But okay, king e7. I play king g2, just improving my king. And now my opponent makes this move, which is going to be very, very important later on in the game for me, because the thing with this h5 move is that it does put his pawns on light squares where my bishop can't attack them, but it also weakens the dark squares around his king side, which I will immediately exploit with bishop c1. And now I have a big threat of playing bishop g5 check and picking up the rook. So yeah, my opponent has a couple of moves, but here my opponent completely blunders the game with bishop g7. And I saw this before I played bishop c1, that he couldn't play this move. And you will see why. So here my opponent should play king e6, just wait a bit, make me have to make a move. Also, maybe moving the rook would also be an option. But let's see why bishop g7 is not a good move, and it loses the game on the spot. If you want, you can pause the video, use this as a tactical exercise. And the solution for this puzzle that happened in the game, which I'm so happy that I saw in advance, that makes me very happy that I was able to spot this idea even before it came on the board. Bishop g5 check. So again, as I said, I was threatening to give this check and pick up the rook. But my opponent thought, okay, I'll just block with the bishop and everything is fine. But my opponent missed this very nice idea of sacrificing the rook on e5. My opponent can't take with the bishop. He has to take with the pawn, and after pawn takes, bishop takes on f6. The bishop is defended by the rook, and I'm picking up this rook, gaining back the sacrificed rook. After takes, yeah, here I don't know why my opponent didn't go to f7. It looked like a better square, because now at least here the pawn on g6 is defended. Okay, still I have other moves, like rook e6, but at least after rook d7 my opponent is not immediately busted. I mean, this position is losing, but I still have to show some technique. But my opponent, I don't know, maybe he was just tilted, or maybe didn't even think about it, but he just took on, he played king f8, and after rook takes, I just get this free pawn on g6, and the king is super passive. So yeah, now it was a matter of technique. I was completely winning, and I was super happy to spot that tactic. Finally, I get to win a game based on like a tactical opportunity, which was really the only tactical opportunity in the game so far, and I just took advantage of it. So very proud of that. That's improvement. So okay, my opponent tries to to create some counterplay, but in the end, we get this position which is completely winning. But I took some time to actually convert this. I wasn't so sure. Like, I knew that this was completely winning, of course, but I was really trying to not stalemate my opponent or allow any like rook, kamikaze rook, to get a draw or something like that. I was very paranoid in this position, and I finally found a way to actually win this by coming with the king far away from the pawns for a while and just push these pawns. And yeah, in the end we got this position, and my opponent allowed me to checkmate him on the board, and we got the win. So very nice, very proud of this game. I think I played it at a very good level, and very happy to spot that tactic. In the end, we got a win. We started the tournament with a win. Very nice 9-round tournament, so there will be a lot of games to show. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you for next episode. Bye bye.